There's a fire in their eyes, not just attraction, but frustration. They watch you closely, analyzing your every move, trying to decode the way you think. But they can't. You're a puzzle with missing pieces, a storm without a pattern, unpredictable, untamed, and that drives them mad. They're used to people bending, adjusting, and playing along just to stay in their good graces. But you refuse. You don't seek their approval, don't play their games, and don't follow their rules. That refusal, your defiance, pulls them in like a force of nature. They want to crack the code, to figure you out, to make you chase like all the others. But the more they try, the further you slip away. You're the one thing they can't control, and that makes you the only thing they truly want. It's the paradox of power. People crave what they can't have. The moment they realize they can't tame you, they become obsessed. It's not just desire, it's an itch they can't scratch, a challenge they can't win, and nothing is more irresistible than the unattainable. The lion in a cage is admired, but the lion that roams free, that one is feared, respected, and desired beyond reason. Freedom is rare, and those who own it without apology stand out in a world where most live for validation. So why do they chase the ones who refuse to submit? Why does your indifference make you unforgettable? The answer is simple. Power, not power in the loud, aggressive sense, but the quiet kind. It's the power of someone who doesn't need permission to exist, who doesn't ask for acceptance, who is whole without anyone's approval. That kind of presence unsettles people, excites them, and makes them question themselves. You're not resisting them out of spite, you're just not moved by the same forces that control everyone else. That alone makes you dangerous. And in a world where most people are predictable, danger is intoxicating. They don't just want you, they want to understand you. They want to know what makes you so unshaken, so unmoved. But that's the thing, they never will. You aren't a puzzle meant to be solved. You aren't a flame waiting to be tamed. You are what they can't grasp. And that is exactly why they'll never stop chasing you. The fire they can't extinguish. The moment they realize they can't predict or control you, something shifts. Curiosity turns into obsession. Why? Because your confidence isn't built on their approval. It comes from within, just like the ancient Stoics taught. You are self-contained, independent, unshaken, and that's what makes you impossible to ignore. People don't crave what's handed to them on a silver platter. They crave mystery, challenge, something that keeps them guessing. What's more exciting? A book where you already know the ending, or one that keeps you on edge, flipping through every page, desperate to find out what happens next. The world is filled with those who mold themselves to fit expectations, who adjust their words and actions just to stay in someone's favor. But the moment they see that you don't seek their validation, that you're not desperate to impress, something deeper takes hold. Respect. And where there's respect, attraction follows. The second you become predictable, the moment you start bending too much, they subconsciously start to lose interest, not because they want someone cold or distant, but because desire isn't born from familiarity. It's born from intrigue. This isn't about playing games. It's not about being emotionally unavailable or pretending to be something you're not. It's about living with purpose beyond them. Marcus Aurelius once said, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambition." If your entire existence revolves around seeking someone's affection, you shrink yourself to fit inside their world. But when you stand firm in who you are, when your path isn't dictated by their expectations, they have no choice but to be drawn to you. Look at history. The most powerful figures, leaders, warriors, philosophers, shared one defining trait: They lived by their own principles, not by the whims of others. The moment you let someone dictate who you should be, you surrender the very force that makes you magnetic. They may say they want someone who listens to their every demand, but deep down, what they truly desire is someone who stands their ground, a person who, like a stoic, remains unmoved by fleeting emotions and passing storms. Take Odysseus, for example. He faced temptations, but never lost himself. He didn't submit to what was easy. He remained who he was, and that made him legendary. That's the kind of presence that captivates. It's not about how much you can give. It's about how much of yourself you refuse to lose. People don't want to tame you. They want to figure you out. They want to know why they can't fully grasp you, why there's always a part of you just beyond their reach. They chase because there's something left to chase. If they had total control over you, the challenge would disappear, and with it, their excitement. They don't want someone who follows without question. They want someone who walks their own path, who isn't afraid to say no, who doesn't fold under pressure or lose themselves in a momentary emotion. Even when they love you, they still want to feel that you belong to yourself. That's the paradox of attraction. The fire they feel isn't just passion. It's the burning need to understand why they can't own all of you. So stop proving yourself. Stop waiting for permission to be who you already are. When you live unapologetically, when you walk your path without hesitation, they follow, not because they have to, but because they want to. And that makes all the difference. A person who bends too easily is easily forgotten. If you constantly shift to fit the expectations of others, you fade into the background, becoming just another voice in the crowd. Replaceable, unremarkable. But the one who stands firm, the one who moves through life with conviction, unshaken by approval or rejection, that's the one who leaves an impression. That's the one they can't ignore. Think of a river carving through stone. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for approval. It simply moves forward, shaping the world around it instead of being shaped by the world. That's the kind of presence that commands respect. You don't exist to please others. You have your own code, your own values, and that's what sets you apart. Marcus Aurelius, a ruler of an empire, understood this deeply. Despite all the flattery and power surrounding him, he refused to let the opinions of others dictate his worth. He once wrote, "The approval of such men who do not even stand well in their own eyes has no value for me." That is the mindset of someone who cannot be controlled, someone who doesn't seek validation because they already know their worth. And the truth is, whether they admit it or not, people recognize and respect that kind of self-possession. There's a reason those who walk their own path attract the most attention, even from those who claim to want something different. They may test you, push your limits, challenge what you believe, not because they want you to break, but because they need to see if you will break. If you bend too easily, if you change your stance just to keep their approval, you become just like the rest. But when they realize that no matter what they do, no matter how they challenge you, you remain steady, calm, and unshaken, that's when something rare happens. Respect turns into admiration, and admiration becomes the foundation of real attraction. People may say they want someone who listens to their every word, someone who caters to their every demand. But deep down, they don't respect the one who folds too easily. No one is drawn to a person who molds themselves to fit every situation, who swaps their beliefs at the slightest pressure just to avoid conflict. They don't desire the one who is constantly seeking approval. They desire the one who hears them but stands firm in their own truth. The one who, like a stoic, remains centered no matter how unpredictable the world around them becomes. And that's the secret. The more you hold your ground, the more they are drawn to you. It's not about arrogance or stubbornness. It's about knowing who you are and refusing to compromise that for the sake of momentary approval. They crave the mystery of the one who moves at their own pace, whose confidence is rooted in something deeper than fleeting attention. They might never say it outright, but they feel it. They feel the difference between someone who is easily swayed and someone who is unshakable. Let others bend to the moment. Let them chase approval, seek validation, and mold themselves into whatever they think will make them more likable. But you remain still, unmovable, like a mountain standing against the wind, because you know that a person who is easily swayed is a person who is easily forgotten, and the ones who cannot forget you are the ones who will always come back. Most people crumble under pressure. They react, overthink, and let emotions pull them in every direction, but not you. While the world spirals into chaos, you remain still, unshaken, and that is magnetic. Chaos tests everyone. It separates the ones who pretend to be strong from the ones who actually are. People push, challenge, and even resist, not to destroy, but to see if what they sense in you is real strength. Strength isn't just how loud you are, how much you talk about confidence. It's in how you hold your ground when everything around you is uncertain. And when they see that you don't fold, that no amount of pressure makes you lose yourself, they lean in closer. This is where most fail. They mistake challenges for rejection. They think resistance means disinterest. But it's not about pushing you away. It's about seeing if you can handle what's real. If your confidence only exists when things are easy, then it was never confidence at all. Anyone can appear strong when there's nothing to test them, but true power is proven in adversity. When everything is thrown at you, uncertainty, doubt, raw emotion, do you hold steady or do you break? Seneca once said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." A strength isn't just given, it's forged. Every test, every moment of resistance is an opportunity not to prove yourself to them, but to yourself, to see if your foundation is solid or if it crumbles when the weight gets heavy. Most people, when challenged, react in one of two ways. They get defensive or they retreat. They argue, beg, and try to convince others to see their worth. But those who are truly grounded do neither. They don't explain themselves. They don't panic when someone pulls away. They don't seek validation because they don't need it. Their strength is silent, steady, undeniable, and that is what pulls people in. There's a reason leaders, warriors, and philosophers throughout history were admired, not because they were the loudest in the room, not because they sought approval, but because they remained unshaken when it mattered most. When the world screamed for them to react, they held firm. That kind of presence commands respect. It draws people in without effort, and whether they realize it or not, they feel it. They feel it. They feel the difference between someone who is moved by every little thing and someone who stands still while the storm rages. They may not be able to put it into words, but they recognize something rare. The world teaches most people to chase, to plead, to prove. You stay centered. You let your actions speak louder than anything else. You become the eye of the storm, calm, composed, unwavering, and in doing so you become unforgettable. The paradox is simple yet profound. The more they realize they can't shape you, the deeper their intrigue grows. When someone sees that you are unyielding, your resistance is not arrogance, but the product of deep discipline. They begin to view you not as a simple conquest, but as a formidable challenge. It isn't about ego or playing hard to get as a mere game. It's about respect. A person who is won over without effort is soon forgotten, but one who holds their ground, unwavering in the face of every test, remains etched in memory. Imagine a fortress built on solid rock, impervious to the battering of time and tide. That steadfastness is the essence of true strength. When the world tries to mold you to its whims, you stand firm, proving that your worth isn't defined by external validation. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, a leader's focus should be on virtue rather than on the transient applause of the crowd. In this light, your resistance is a testament to a deeper inner foundation, a code you live by that no one can simply rewrite. They say that attraction is like a magnet. The pull becomes stronger when the object is just out of reach. It's not that you're playing games. Rather, you are genuinely living a life with purpose beyond mere approval. History is replete with examples of figures who commanded respect, not by bending to every demand, but by forging their own paths. Warriors, thinkers, and kings alike did not crumble under the weight of constant adoration. They earned it by standing true to themselves. Their discipline was their quiet rebellion against a world that expected conformity. There is a reason why those who are least easy to claim tend to linger in the mind. When someone tests you, not out of cruelty, but as a natural instinct to seek certainty, they're actually trying to gauge if your confidence is genuine. They want to know if the person they admire will crumble under pressure, or if they remain as steadfast as ever. And when you prove time and again that your values and purpose are unshakable, admiration replaces fleeting attraction. It's like watching an ancient oak weather the fiercest storm. Even as winds rage and rains pour, its roots remain deeply embedded in the earth. Consider the notion that the chase itself isn't about proving one's worth to the other, but about affirming that worth within. When someone finds that they cannot completely capture the essence of who you are, they begin to see you as a prize that transcends superficial charm. In this dynamic, every test becomes an opportunity, not for you to chase them, but to reinforce your own resolve. The discipline you exhibit isn't a facade. It's a reflection of the inner strength that guides your every decision. It whispers, "I am complete in myself," and the truth is far more alluring than any fleeting compliment or momentary validation. Well. Some may wonder if this approach makes one seem distant or unapproachable. The answer lies in understanding that true connection is built on mutual respect and the admiration of integrity, not on the ease with which one is swayed. Attraction rooted in such unwavering strength is not a matter of playing hard to get for the sake of drama. It is an authentic expression of self-possession. When someone senses that you are not merely a collection of reactions, but a person with enduring values, their interest shifts from trying to change you to wanting to understand you. They come to appreciate the mystery of a life lived on one's own terms. A life where every decision is a testament to a purpose greater than the fleeting pursuit of approval. It is in this delicate balance, the interplay of resistance and openness, that genuine allure is born. The admiration that grows from knowing that you are unbreakable is rare and compelling. It is a quiet yet powerful reminder that your strength is not measured by how easily you can be won over, but by how firmly you remain true to yourself. And while many might try to force their way into the picture, it is the ones who respect your steadfast nature who ultimately become captivated. True attraction, then, is not about bending to every whim or succumbing to every test. It is about holding fast to your convictions and letting your inner light shine through even when challenged by the forces around you. This unyielding resolve is the magnet that draws admiration, turning every trial into a testament of your enduring value. You are the kind of person who understands that self-worth is not up for negotiation. The man who truly knows his value never finds himself groveling for approval. Instead, he exists with the quiet power of someone who needs no crown to prove his majesty. In a world that demands endless proofs of worth, he moves forward with unshakable confidence, a presence that naturally draws others in without a single plea for validation. If someone cannot see your true value, that is their loss, not yours. Once you begin chasing approval, you invert the dynamic. You become the one in pursuit, and the other person inadvertently becomes the prize. This is precisely when interest starts to fade. Picture a mighty oak standing tall in a storm. The winds may howl and the rain may lash at its branches, but the oak remains rooted, unyielding. That is the essence of true strength, a strength that is not dependent on the capricious opinions of those around you. Instead of constantly bending to accommodate external demands, you stand firm in your beliefs and principles. As Marcus Aurelius once said, the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Your inner discipline, the set of values you choose to live by, defines you far more than any external affirmation ever could. Many fall into the trap of feeling that they must continually prove themselves to be worthy of attention or love. They believe that validation must be earned with each interaction, and that every compliment or nod of approval is a stepping stone to acceptance. But when you start this endless chase, you signal that your worth is something to be granted rather than something you inherently possess. Think about it. When was the last time you saw a person of genuine power running after anyone, desperate to be chosen? Real influence and respect come from an inner certainty that does not waver with each passing moment. Imagine a finely tuned instrument resonating with notes of deep, enduring melody. It doesn't shout to be heard. It simply plays its part in the grand symphony of life. Similarly, a man who knows his worth doesn't need to lower himself or seek out approval. His very presence commands attention. His quiet strength acts as a beacon, drawing others in as if by magnetic force. Just like a river that carves its own path through the land, unafraid to reshape the landscape without seeking permission, your inner strength will leave an indelible mark on those who cross your path. There may be moments of doubt where questions arise. What if not actively seeking validation makes you appear indifferent or aloof? The truth is, genuine self-assurance is not about being cold or detached. It is about having a deep-seated belief in who you are, a belief that requires no constant reassurance. When others see that your happiness, self-worth, and sense of purpose are independent of their approval, they are naturally drawn to you. This is not an act of arrogance, but of authenticity. As the Stoics taught, true strength is revealed in one's ability to remain unmoved by the transient judgments of others. Reflect on the wisdom of those who have come before us. History is filled with figures who did not seek to impress, but rather to live true to their own principles. Great leaders, warriors, and philosophers were not the ones who groveled for the adoration of the masses. They were the ones who commanded respect by simply being true to themselves. They embodied the notion that self-worth is not something to be chased, but something to be recognized as inherent. Their discipline and resolve shone through even when they were not in the spotlight, proving time and again that genuine strength comes from within. The metaphor of a well-crafted sculpture comes to mind, a masterpiece revealed over time, carved with precision and care from a single block of stone. No amount of polishing or superficial adornment can compare to the beauty of something that is already complete. In the same way, when you stop trying to modify yourself to meet others' expectations, you allow your true essence to emerge. Your worth becomes an ever-present force, one that does not depend on the fleeting opinions of those around you. Like a rare gem whose luster only deepens with time, your intrinsic value becomes unmistakable to those who are willing to look beyond the surface. Real attraction, therefore, is not about incessant pursuit or desperate pleas for attention. It is the natural consequence of living authentically, of walking your own path with unwavering commitment to your values. When you let go of the need to chase and instead focus on cultivating your inner strength, you become irresistible. Your self-assured presence speaks for itself, drawing others in as if by an unseen force. Those who recognize this inherent power are the ones who will be drawn to you, not because you sought them out, but because you radiate a genuine sense of worth that cannot be replicated. In the end, the man who never begs is a man who understands that his value is self-determined. He moves through life not in search of approval, but with the quiet assurance of someone who is complete in themselves. His worth is not dictated by the admiration or attention of others. It is built into the very fabric of his being. And so, if someone cannot appreciate the full measure of your strength, it is their loss. You are not defined by their limited perspective, but by the boundless power of your own convictions. No one dreams of a partner they can control. They may think they want someone who follows every command, who nods along to every opinion, who never disagrees. But deep down, that's not what excites them. They crave the challenge, the unpredictability, the presence of someone who stands firm in their beliefs, a person who doesn't roll over to keep the peace, because peace without respect isn't peace at all. It's quiet submission, and no one can truly respect someone they can control. History tells the same story over and over again. The warriors, the kings, the philosophers, they weren't led by the crowd. They didn't bend at every demand. They listened, but they did not obey blindly. They led, but they never lost themselves in the process. Marcus Aurelius, despite ruling over an empire, never let flattery or power dictate his actions. He remained grounded, unshaken, because he understood a simple truth. True strength comes from within, not from external approval. That's the mindset one must carry into relationships. The moment you become a yes man, agreeing with everything, afraid to upset, bending over backwards just to maintain harmony, you don't make yourself more desirable. You make yourself invisible. Kindness is appreciated, but attraction is fueled by something deeper. It thrives on polarity, the balance between steadiness and unpredictability, between strength and softness. A person who fears conflict, who never asserts themselves, who is so desperate to be liked that they avoid disagreement, does not inspire admiration. Challenges will come. Tests will happen, not out of cruelty, but out of instinct. The real question is, will you hold your ground? Can you stand firm without losing your composure? Can you be both steady and untamed, disciplined yet unpredictable? That is what keeps people intrigued. That is what creates the fire that never quite burns out. Think of a river. It provides life, it nourishes, it brings stability, but it also carves mountains, reshapes landscapes, and refuses to be contained. That's the kind of presence that captivates. The one who offers security, but never at the cost of their own self-respect. The one who listens but does not conform. The one who cares but does not cling. And that's the paradox. People don't need a servant. They need someone who challenges them, who sharpens their mind, who refuses to be another predictable echo of their own thoughts. The moment you understand this, the way they look at you will never be the same. You are not the kind of person who waits on someone else for happiness. True fulfillment comes from pursuing your own passions and embracing your own mission. As Epicurus once said, a freedom begins with self-mastery. When you have mastered yourself and built an inner sanctuary that no external validation can shake, you radiate an energy that is simply irresistible. Many people fall into the trap of believing that by prioritizing another's every whim or centering their existence around someone else, they will be more appreciated. Yet the more you orbit around another, the less your presence is valued. Over-availability and eagerness to please transform your allure into something predictable, a quality that, in the realm of attraction, is the very enemy of desire. Imagine a brilliant comet streaking across the sky. Its light is powerful and unmistakable, but its path is unpredictable. Its timing deliberate. That comet does not wait for permission to shine, nor does it constantly seek to dazzle others with borrowed brilliance. Instead, it moves forward, fueled by an inner fire that demands attention. Similarly, a person who is deeply invested in their own life, whose happiness is self-generated, compels others to work to become a part of that radiant orbit. This is the rare, almost magnetic quality of independence, a trait that challenges the conventional idea that validation must be chased and earned. Consider the historical giants who left their indelible marks on the world. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, was not distracted by the fleeting applause of the masses. His focus on duty and virtue remained unbroken by the superficial lure of adoration. Seneca, too, did not live for the transient approval of others, but for the timeless principles that governed his actions. Even Epicurus, born into less than ideal circumstances, recognized that true power comes from within, mastery of oneself rather than the pursuit of external accolades. This mindset distinguishes the truly influential from those who merely follow the crowd. You might wonder, does this mean being independent makes one distant or aloof? Quite the opposite. Independence does not translate to a cold detachment or lack of care. It means having a wellspring of passion and purpose that allows you to offer genuine warmth and stability without being consumed by the need for constant validation. In a world where many mistakenly equate self-sacrifice with love, there is something profoundly attractive about a person whose life is already overflowing with purpose. Their inner cup is so full that any potential partnership is seen not as a completion, but as a valuable complement, a rare alignment of two powerful forces. Imagine a masterful orchestra where each musician plays their unique part with precision. The conductor does not demand that the players drown out their individual expressions. Instead, their distinct contributions blend to create an extraordinary symphony. Similarly, when you are secure in your own self-worth, your presence becomes a part of a larger, vibrant melody of life. This harmony of independence and connection is far more alluring than any forced, overly dependent relationship ever could be. The paradox is clear. The person who does not need someone else to feel complete becomes the one most desired. This is not because they are distant or indifferent, but because their life is so robust, so intrinsically valuable that they offer something truly exceptional. Independence is not a shield to keep others at bay, a beacon that draws in those who appreciate genuine strength and clarity. They do not dwell in the shadow of another's happiness. Their own joy is self-created. Their freedom, cultivated through self-discipline and purpose, becomes the ultimate aphrodisiac, an invitation to join a life that is already thriving. In a society that often teaches us to seek external validation, need to wait for texts, calls, or reassurances. Embracing independence is a revolutionary act. It is an acknowledgement that your worth is not defined by someone else's response or the ephemeral comfort of another's attention. Instead, your value is carved out through your actions, your pursuits, and your unwavering commitment to self-growth. Much like a sculptor chiseling away at a raw block of marble, your journey to self-mastery reveals the masterpiece that lies within. A work of art that captivates and commands respect without uttering a single plea. If questions arise in your mind, what if embracing independence means missing out on connection? Remember that genuine connection is forged not from dependency, but from the meeting of two complete individuals. When you are whole on your own, you are able to offer the kind of presence that is rare and deeply attractive. People are naturally drawn to the energy of someone who is living fully, who has built their life on their own terms, and who allows relationships to enhance rather than define them. The truth is, independence is not about withholding affection or playing hard to get. It is about living so completely in alignment with your own values that your presence becomes an irresistible force. You move forward with a clear sense of purpose, unburdened by the need for constant reassurance. This level of self-mastery transforms you into a person who not only commands attention effortlessly, but also inspires admiration in those fortunate enough to be part of your orbit. Independence, then, is the ultimate magnet, a powerful reminder that true allure comes not from chasing validation, but from cultivating the strength to create your own destiny. When life unleashes its fury, the storm-tested person emerges as the most desired, a beacon of resilience amid the chaos. In a world where many crumble at the first sign of trouble, it is the one who absorbs life's blows and stands tall that captures admiration. They say weak men complain, while strong men adapt, and the truth is as old as time. Hardship doesn't break you, it builds you. Like a mighty oak that bends with fierce winds yet never snaps, your ability to weather storms becomes your most magnetic quality. Consider the challenges that life inevitably brings: rejection, setbacks, failures. The real question isn't if you'll be knocked down, but whether you'll have the strength to rise again. Every trial is a test of your inner mettle, a chance to refine your character. Much like a blacksmith tempers steel in roaring flames. You might wonder, how does one remain so composed when everything seems intent on dragging you under? The answer lies in understanding that every hardship is a lesson, a building block in the edifice of your true self. When storms come, a weak man succumbs to self-pity and finds excuses, but a strong person learns, adjusts, and forges ahead without bitterness. Imagine a raging river that, despite turbulent currents, continues to carve its path through solid rock. That river is not deterred by obstacles. It flows, reshaping the landscape with quiet persistence. Your life, too, is a journey defined by moments of challenge. Instead of being overwhelmed by adversity, you absorb its force, allowing each experience to add layers of wisdom and depth. As you do this, you develop a calm, steady presence, a calm lake amidst a raging storm that draws others in without a word. The ancient Stoics understood this principle well. Marcus Aurelius once reminded us, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This timeless truth is a cornerstone of resilience. Your strength comes not from avoiding the storm, but from mastering the inner turmoil it provokes. While others may let external circumstances dictate their mood and direction, you cultivate an inner sanctuary that remains untouched by the tempests of life. This kind of mastery over oneself is not just admirable, it's magnetic, True masculinity is revealed in how you perceive pain and struggle. Rather than viewing hardship as a punishment, you see it as preparation, a chance to evolve. Think of a diamond formed under relentless pressure and heat, emerging as a thing of unparalleled beauty and strength. That is the transformation wrought by adversity. Each setback, each moment of despair becomes an opportunity to learn and to grow, further sharpening the resilience that sets you apart from the rest. You might ask, why is it that the one who endures becomes so unforgettable? The answer lies in the balance of strength and vulnerability. People are drawn to those who have faced life's challenges and emerged not unscathed, but stronger. Your ability to remain composed when the world is in turmoil is a testament to your inner fortitude. It tells a story of battles fought and won, of personal wars waged and survived. And that narrative is one of rare allure in the eyes of those seeking stability, not just physical or financial, but emotional. They see a person who can shoulder the weight of life without collapsing under pressure. In contrast, many succumb to the easy path, folding under pressure, begging for sympathy, and blaming circumstances for their misfortunes. Their world is one of fleeting comforts and short-lived victories, where every minor setback sends them spiraling into despair. But you, the storm-hardened one, see each challenge as a stepping stone, each obstacle as an invitation to demonstrate your inner strength. You don't whine about what you cannot change. Instead, you keep moving forward, embracing the inevitable pain as a part of your journey toward wisdom. This resilience is not simply about survival. It is about transformation. Every time you face adversity with grace, you reinforce the foundation of your character. You become a living testament to the idea that real power is forged in the crucible of hardship. In the silent aftermath of a storm, when others are still picking up the pieces, your steady presence remains. That unwavering composure is what makes you truly unforgettable. It is important to understand that being storm-tested is not a matter of chance. It is a choice, a deliberate commitment to living life with courage and integrity. You choose to confront challenges head-on, to learn from each experience, and to let your resilience shine through in every aspect of your existence. This isn't about pride or arrogance. It's about a genuine understanding that your worth is measured by the strength you exhibit when life tests you most rigorously. So when the storms of life rage and the winds of adversity blow, remember that your ability to endure is not just a survival mechanism, it is your greatest asset. Each trial you overcome adds to the mosaic of your character, crafting a persona that is as formidable as it is magnetic. In a world full of those who fold under pressure, your unyielding spirit becomes a beacon of hope, a rare quality that commands respect and admiration. You're not defined by the hardships you face, but by the way you rise each time you are knocked down. In the end, being storm-hardened means living with a quiet assurance that no external force can ever dictate your inner state. It's a testament to the power of self-mastery and the beauty of resilience, a quality that, above all, makes you truly unforgettable.